to Ann Anderson, you are one of the most courageous people that I have ever met in my entire life. Your relentless advocacy opened the eyes of a nation to the dangers of industrial pollution. We all owe you a huge debt of gratitude. America's children are healthier and safer because you stood up for America's children. When no one else knew my name during that long shot race for state representative, when I started out at 3% in the polls with a margin of error of 5%. So I might have been -2 starting here in Malden those many years ago. You were my first 2 supporters when I was an underdog in a 12-person race in Congress. I would not be standing here if it was not for you. Wife, I am the luckiest man in the world because you married me. You are an inspiration to me, and you are an inspiration to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here today. Your incredible enthusiasm and support means the world to me. My name is Ed Markey, and I am running for the United States Senate. All of Massachusetts should be proud that John Kerry is now our Secretary of State. John is going to be an outstanding advocate in Massachusetts. The challenges facing us are great, but the opportunities in front of us are enormous as well. Today, I am asking you to join me as we move forward to seize these exciting opportunities and to shape a bright and a prosperous future for everyone across our state. I am proud to begin my campaign in my hometown of Malden. This great city gave me my start in life. It is where I grew up and went to the Immaculate Conception Grammar School and then on to Malden Catholic. On Townsend Street, my mother and father taught my brothers and me the values that still guide me today: fairness, honesty, and integrity. My father drove a truck for the Hood Mill Company and worked his way up to supervisor. Watching him, I learned the importance of hard work and determination to overcome the challenges that confront all of us in life. My mother was president of her class at Girls Catholic High School here in Malden. But after her mother died, she had to sacrifice her college dreams to take care of her younger sisters. In my mother's later years, I watched my father take care of her. She was stricken with Alzheimer's and robbed of her memory, as so many are. My father took care of her at our home on Townsend Street for 12 years. He was a hero to me and to my brothers. I started working at a young age, bagging groceries at the Elm Farm in Medford, working the night shift at the Purity Supreme warehouse in Somerville, and making gumdrops at the Lewis Candy Factory in Malden. I was the first in my family to go to college, and I worked my way through Boston College driving an ice cream car. My grandparents left County Kerry in Ireland a century ago on a long and uncertain voyage to Malta. Today, many Malta residents arrive from Cambodia and Haiti and Vietnam and Brazil. The accents have changed, but the aspirations are the same for them. Massachusetts is the unshakable belief that no matter where you come from, no matter what your circumstance, you can achieve the American dream. A world-class education, a good job, quality health care, and a safe and secure community for your family. And new possibilities for all of our people. From Pittsfield to Provincetown, from Newburyport to New Bedford, I am running to move President Obama's agenda forward here. Economic recovery and move our country beyond recession, a hope, a promise. But today, that idea is in jeopardy. That promise is in peril. We are facing an array of special interests and Tea Party Republicans trying to erode and erase the progress that we have made together as a nation. The Tea Party extremists are trying to slash Medicare and Medicaid. I'm fighting to protect Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Big oil companies are trying to stop the clean energy revolution and the thousands of jobs it has created in Massachusetts. And they are lobbying to preserve billions in government subsidies they get every year. I am leading the charge to end these corporate giveaways that we cannot afford and I am fighting to beat back the NRA and ban these deadly weapons. Just as I worked with President Clinton to stop the millions of military-style, semi-automatic weapons that were coming from China into our communities, I want these weapons off our soil. Republican extremists are trying to restrict women's rights and health care choices. I am standing up for a woman's right to choose. The Tea Party's wrong-headed policies. They are bad for Massachusetts, and they are bad for America. We have a long history in Massachusetts of senators who are not afraid to lead, who do not shy away from the big battles, who have made a real difference for our state and for our country. John Kerry is an excellent example of the leadership that we have had in our state, and I intend to run in that tradition for the Senate seat. Now is the time to build a stronger economic recovery, not undermine it every few months with phony fiscal cliffs. Now is the time to fight the attacks on the research funding that fuels our innovation economy here in Massachusetts and makes the Bay State the brain state. We cannot allow the Tea Party and now is the time to finally finally take on the big challenges, like climate change and gun control. And we need a senator who is willing to meet this moment and to stand up. A senator who has the perspective of success and can get the job done. That is why I'm running for the United States Senate. I am ready to be the voice that Massachusetts needs and to fight for what is right for our families and our future. It is what I have done as a congressman in the House of Representatives, and it is what I will do as your next United States Senator. Since I was first elected, I have stood up for our state. When horrible abuse of children with mental disabilities was uncovered at the Fernald School in Waltham, I partnered with Senator Ted Kennedy to right a terrible wrong. Our work led to the creation of a federal code of bioethics to stop exploitation in human research experiments which were hurting the citizens of our state and our country. When Al-Qaeda brought down 4 planes on 9/11, I joined grieving flight attendants at Logan Airport. Then I wrote the bill to require all the billions of pounds of cargo carried on passenger planes to be screened for bombs before they are loaded on board. My bill is now the law. It provides funding to connect students from disadvantaged backgrounds to the internet. More than $30 billion in E-rate funding has been distributed to schools and libraries since we created it in 1996, beginning right here in Walden for the children of the future. And I stood up to BP when its recklessness caused the worst offshore oil spill in the history of our country. I forced BP to answer for its crimes by showing the world the live footage of millions of gallons of oil gushing into the Gulf of Mexico. I worked to increase the efficiency of our nation's automobiles from 25 miles per gallon to 35 miles per gallon. Our landmark law saves drivers money and ultimately will eliminate the need to import more than 3 million barrels of oil a day from the Persian Gulf. Why should we be exporting our young men and women over to the Middle East to protect oil coming in when we can make these vehicles more efficient and not have to import oil? I co-authored the Waxman-Markey Climate Change Bill. It is the only bill in the history of Congress to combat global warming that has ever passed the House or the Senate. The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for sick planets. We have to unleash a green revolution to avoid the most catastrophic campaign, we should pledge to keep it focused on the issues. We need to ensure that health care is a right and not a privilege. We are at a critical moment in the history of our state and our country. We have unlimited potential. It is the energy of the entrepreneurs, the educators, and the scientists across Massachusetts. It is in the eyes of the eager students in our schools, and it is in the daily efforts of every worker in our state who strives to build a better future. Now is the time to reach for that potential, together, to move past gridlock and politics as usual, and help renew our nation's promise, not just for some of its people, but for all of its people. We have a tremendous amount of hard work ahead. This campaign will travel every mile to every corner of Massachusetts. We will bring passion and energy to take on the most important priorities facing Massachusetts families. I will ask for every vote, and we will organize every precinct. Because I know when the chips are down, we Democrats don't agonize, we organize. And we are going to Together, we can ignite the best of America's spirit and ingenuity to tackle the big issues. We can give every child a world-class education, regardless of race, or creed, or color. We can create good jobs. We can ensure that women get equal pay for equal work. We can provide the LGBT community equal protection under all of our laws. And we can protect our environment and fight global warming, and we can pass an assault weapons ban. We can build a bold and bright future for all of us, and we can do it together. This campaign is about you. It is about your hopes. It is about your dreams. It is about your families. Now is the time. This is the place. Please join our campaign to send a signal from Massachusetts that we are going to implement the Obama agenda for this country and for